She caught the hand before it landed. Vanessa Cole's wrist froze mid-swing, locked in place by fingers that weren't asking permission. The lobby of Ashford Capital went silent, not the kind of quiet where people hold their breath, but the kind where oxygen just stops existing. Nobody moved. The AC hummed. Glass reflected faces that couldn't process what they were seeing. The person holding Vanessa's wrist wasn't a board member, wasn't an executive, wasn't anyone who mattered on paper. It was Maya. Night security, 22 years old. Ponytail still tight from her 6 a.m. shift start. Badge so new it hadn't been scratched yet. She didn't shout. Didn't explain herself. Just said 5 words that changed everything. You don't get to hit him. The kid, maybe 19, custodian uniform 2 sizes too big, stared at her like she'd just stepped between him and a moving train. Vanessa laughed, slow and disbelieving, the kind of laugh people use right before they destroy you. Do you have any idea who I am? Maya's grip didn't loosen. I know what you were about to do. That was worse. Behind them, the glass elevator opened with a soft chime. Nathan Ford, founder, Billionaire, the man whose name was on the building, stepped out and saw everything. Not a single person breathed, because one question burned through the room like a live wire. Who was this girl brave enough to do that? Vanessa Cole was flawless on camera. Charity brunches, women in business panels, photo ops at youth shelters, the internet loved her. A major magazine had just called her the philanthropist her generation needed. Inside the company, she was a different story. Custodians worked without contracts. Security guards pulled 16-hour shifts with no overtime. Interns learned to keep their heads down and their mouths shut. Nobody complained. Jobs were scarce, and the city didn't forgive. And she was engaged to the boss. That made her untouchable. Maya had shown up quietly, transferred from a branch in Ohio with 1 reference letter and nothing else. Her mother needed medication insurance wouldn't cover. Her old bartending job had dried up when the bar closed down. This security job, graveyard shift, low pay, was survival. On her first night, an older guard had pulled her aside. If she yells, you nod. If she insults you, you apologize. If she raises her hand, he paused, you look away. Maya nodded. She listened. But that night, lying on the break room couch staring at water-stained ceiling tiles, she made a decision she never said out loud. She'd take the insults. She'd take the exhaustion, the humiliation. But she wouldn't watch someone get destroyed. Not again. The breaking point came fast. A company laptop went missing. Vanessa stormed into the lobby, heels striking marble like punctuation marks. She locked the front doors and lined everyone up like suspects. Her eyes landed on Marcus, the youngest custodian. You, she said. You took it. I didn't. His voice was quiet, steady. That was his mistake. Her hand came up, and Maya moved. Back in the present, Vanessa's smile turned sharp, dangerous. You're going to regret this. Maya met her eyes and didn't blink. Behind them, Nathan took a step forward. Then a voice cut through the tension like a blade. Is this how we treat people here? Diane Walsh, board member, major investor, stood near the entrance with the kind of calm that meant someone was about to lose everything. Vanessa's wrist slipped free. She recovered fast, too fast. By the time Diane finished her sentence, Vanessa had already rearranged her face, shock melting into wounded dignity, anger tucked behind poise. This is a misunderstanding, she said smoothly, adjusting her blazer. I was handling a theft situation. The word theft hung in the air like smoke. Marcus flinched. Maya didn't move. Nathan finally spoke. What exactly is going on? Vanessa turned to him instantly, voice soft now. Baby, a laptop went missing. I was just taking care of it. Taking care of it, that phrase had buried complaints before. But Diane wasn't buying it. Taking care of it by raising your hand. Vanessa laughed lightly. You know how these things get exaggerated. She looked around the lobby, guards, custodians, receptionists, daring anyone to contradict her. Nobody spoke. They never did. This was the woman the press profiled, the one who funded coding boot camps and posted selfies with senators. But inside the building, her kindness stopped at the revolving doors. She withheld paychecks to teach discipline, called grown men kids, reminded women their jobs were favors, and when anyone pushed back, she smiled and whispered, "Remember who I'm marrying." Maya had noticed the pattern within a week, how voices dropped when Vanessa entered, how custodians avoided eye contact, how guards stood straighter, terrified of being noticed. Once she'd watched Vanessa make a pregnant receptionist stand through an entire 3-hour meeting. Pregnancy isn't a disability, Vanessa had said. Nobody intervened. Maya had clenched her fists and looked away. That day, she'd almost quit. Back in the lobby, Diane turned to Nathan. Have you checked the security footage? Vanessa stiffened. There's no need. Pull it, Diane said. Silence dropped like a curtain. A technician moved toward the control room. Vanessa's nails dug into her palms. Minutes later, the screen lit up. Footage rolled. The laptop hadn't been stolen. It had been left in a conference room by a senior manager. The timestamp proved it. A murmur rippled through the staff. Vanessa's face drained slowly. This doesn't change the disrespect, she snapped, spinning on Maya. She grabbed me in public. Nathan looked at Maya for the first time. Why did you do it? Every eye followed. Maya swallowed hard. He was scared, she said simply. And you don't hit people who can't defend themselves. The room went still. That wasn't rebellion. That was morality. Vanessa laughed again, but this time it cracked. See? This is insubordination. If you allow this, you lose control. Diane's gaze hardened. Or we regain our humanity. Before Vanessa could respond, the glass doors slid open. An older man rushed in, breathless, panicked, Vanessa's uncle. Vanessa, he said urgently. Not again. Please. The room stilled. Nathan frowned. What does he mean, not again? The uncle froze. He looked at Vanessa, then at the screen, then whispered words that changed everything. This is how it started last time. Vanessa's composure shattered. The uncle looked around the lobby like a man who'd already said too much, his chest rising and falling unevenly. Sir, Nathan said slowly, every word controlled, what do you mean by last time? Vanessa turned on him sharply. Uncle Frank, stop talking. But fear had already taken over. No, he said hoarsely. I won't do this again. I won't protect you again. The word again landed like a gunshot. Maya felt ice crawl up her spine. Diane folded her arms. Protect her from what? Silence. Then the uncle spoke, voice trembling. 6 years ago, there was a girl. Vanessa hissed at him to stop, he ignored her. She was accused of stealing. Just like today. Nathan's face tightened. The accusation was false, the uncle said quietly. We knew it was false. A low murmur spread across the lobby. Maya felt her throat go tight. She was young, the uncle went on. Brilliant. From a poor family. Her entire future depended on that internship. He swallowed hard. Vanessa said the girl had embarrassed her in front of clients, that she needed to be taught a lesson. Vanessa screamed, that's not how it happened. But no one stopped him. She forced management to announce the accusation publicly. The girl was walked out of the building. Diane closed her eyes. And after, she asked quietly. The uncle's voice broke. The girl went home in shame. Her school suspended her. Her family turned on her. He paused, fighting tears. 3 months later, she jumped off a hotel balcony. The lobby went dead silent. No gasps, no whispers, just shock. Maya's knees nearly buckled. Someone had died. Not because of theft. Because of power. Nathan stepped back like he'd been struck. You knew? He asked Vanessa. Her eyes were wild now. She was weak, she spat. People like that don't survive pressure. The words hit harder than any slap. That's when Maya understood, this woman wasn't cruel by accident. She was dangerous by choice. Diane's voice turned to ice. Why wasn't this reported? The uncle wiped his face. We buried it. Paid settlements. Threatened witnesses. He looked at Nathan. Your name was used without your knowledge. Nathan's hands curled into fists. Maya watched him. Not as a billionaire, not as a fiancé, but as a man realizing his life had been built next to a monster. Before anyone could speak, the gate alarm rang, sharp and urgent. Every head snapped toward the entrance. A security officer rushed in. Sir, there's a man outside. What does he want? Nathan asked. The officer hesitated. He says he's here for the woman who destroyed his sister. Vanessa staggered back, face drained of color. She whispered one word, barely audible. No. Diane looked at her coldly. Who is he? Vanessa's lips trembled. The brother, she said. Maya's heart pounded. The past hadn't stayed buried. It had come knocking. The glass doors slid open slowly, not dramatically, not angrily, just enough for the man outside to step in. Andre Grant wasn't tall, wasn't imposing, wasn't threatening at first glance, but grief had carved something permanent into his face. His eyes were calm in the way people get when rage has already burned itself out. He didn't look at Vanessa immediately. He looked at Nathan. Are you the owner of this building? He asked quietly. Yes, Nathan replied, voice tight. Then you should hear why I'm here. Vanessa tried to move. Maya stepped sideways without thinking, just enough to block her. Not aggressively, not loudly, just present. Vanessa hissed, move. Maya didn't. The room noticed again. Andre turned his gaze to Vanessa now. She was my younger sister, he said evenly. Her name was Amara. No one interrupted him. She wanted to be an architect. Used to draw buildings on scrap paper because we couldn't afford sketchbooks. His jaw tightened. I got her that internship, and she called me crying with joy. Said her life was finally changing. Vanessa's breathing grew shallow. Andre continued. Then one afternoon she called me again. This time she couldn't breathe. Said a woman in power had accused her of stealing, made her kneel, made people laugh. Vanessa shook her head violently. That's not. Diane cut in sharply. Be quiet. She came home a different person, Andre said. Stopped eating. Stopped talking. Stopped dreaming. He looked around the lobby. And when she died, everyone said pressure kills people. But pressure doesn't name itself. His eyes locked on Vanessa. People do. The silence was unbearable. Nathan stepped forward slowly. Vanessa, he said, voice hollow. Tell me the truth. For a moment, it looked like she might cry. Then her face hardened. She was weak, Vanessa snapped. I didn't push her. A murmur of disbelief spread. Andre nodded once, like he'd expected that answer. Then I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for justice. Diane turned to the head of security. Call the police. Vanessa screamed, you can't. You all benefited from me. That's when her tablet lit up. A notification unlocked. Maya saw it first, then Nathan did. Messages scrolled across the screen, cold, calculated plans, threats, mockery. A voice note played accidentally, loud enough for the lobby to hear. Vanessa's own voice, laughing, I just need the ring. Once I'm Mrs. Ford, nobody touches me. Nathan closed his eyes. When he opened them, something was gone. Vanessa Cole, he said quietly. This engagement is over. Her knees buckled. Police sirens wailed in the distance as officers led her away. Vanessa locked eyes with Maya. Hatred, shock, fear. Maya didn't smile, didn't gloat. She simply stood. Weeks later, the office felt different. Quieter. Safer. Investigations reopened, apologies issued, changes made. No grand ceremony, no viral praise. Maya returned to her post at the gate one morning, same uniform, same salary, different air. As Nathan walked past, he paused. My late wife used to say, he told her softly, the bravest people don't raise their voices. Maya nodded. She didn't ask for thanks. Didn't ask for reward. She just opened the gate and let the truth walk through.